Part 5. The Empty House. The land changed before the house came into view. Mara felt it before she saw anything wrong. The woods around their family's property had always carried a certain order. Trails worn by years of walking, fallen branches cleared, fences maintained not for looks but for function. Now the forest felt bruised. Broken brush, tire ruts where no tires belonged, a snapped sapling bent low like it had tried to stand in the way and failed. Mara raised a fist. Stop. Eli froze beside her, every muscle alert. They crouched behind a stand of scrub oak and watched the clearing ahead. The house sat where it always had, white siding dulled by time, porch facing east. From a distance, it looked intact. Too intact. No smoke from the chimney, no light in the windows, no movement. Eli's jaw tightened. Dad would have fixed that fence. Mara followed his gaze. The gate hung open, not broken, open. Her chest tightened. They waited. 10 minutes, then 20. No sound but wind, no bird song. That absence hit Mara harder than shouting would have. Eli whispered, "We don't rush." Mara nodded. They circled wide, staying in cover, approaching from the back of the property where the land dipped into a shallow ravine. Their father had chosen this place for a reason. Good ground, hard to approach unseen, which meant anyone who had come here knew what they were doing.
Mara's anger rose, sharp and bright, and forced it down. Anger could get out of control, and that meant mistakes. They reached the rear of the house. The back door was sitting open. Mara felt her stomach drop. She held up 2 fingers. Split. Eli nodded. They separated, moving in a smooth, fast-practiced arc, each covering the other without needing to look. Mara reached the side window first. The glass was intact. Inside, the kitchen looked wrong. Drawers open, cabinets bare, a chair overturned. Eli reached the back door and eased it open the rest of the way. No creak, no resistance. That was worse. They entered, slow, careful. Mara moved through the kitchen first. Her eyes cataloged everything in an instant. The pantry was stripped. Shelves empty. No jars, no flour, no rice. They'd taken the long-term food, not random looters. Eli moved past her into the living room. Mara followed. The rug was bunched up, shoved aside. A dark stain spread across the hardwood floor. Blood. Not splattered, dragged. Mara knelt, touched the edge with a gloved finger. Dry. Old. Her chest felt hollow. Eli's voice came low and tight. No bodies. Mara nodded. That's intentional. They cleared the rest of the house, room by room. Bedrooms ransacked, closets emptied. Their parents' bedroom showed signs of a fight. A dresser drawer smashed, the bed frame splintered, another smear of blood along the wall. Eli stood very still, fists clenched at his sides. They fought, he said. Mara swallowed. Of course they did. In their father's workshop, the damage told a different story. Tools gone. Not all, just the ones that mattered. Bolt cutters, crowbars, a welding rig stripped for parts. Someone had taken what they needed to build something. Mara felt a cold certainty settle in her bones. This wasn't a raid, this was a harvest. Eli found the first clue near the back door, a boot print in dried mud. Heavy tread, not military but close. Another print overlapped it, smaller, different pattern. Mara crouched beside him. This multiple people, she said, organized. Eli nodded, and not in a hurry. They moved outside. The barn door stood open. Inside, it was worse. Feed bags torn open and emptied, the generator gone, fuel cans gone. The tractor sat useless, parts removed. Someone had disabled it, not stolen it. Mara clenched her jaw. That was deliberate. Eli pointed to the dirt floor. Drag marks. Something heavy had been pulled out. People, Eli said quietly. Mara nodded. They followed the marks until they disappeared into tire tracks leading toward the road. Mara stood very still and closed her eyes. She breathed once, then again. Then she opened them.
"They're alive," she said. Eli looked at her sharply. "They took them," Mara continued. "Not bodies, not quick, alive." Eli's voice was rough. For what? Mara thought of the missing tools, the stripped generator, the convoy they'd seen weeks earlier. A work detail, forced labor. Eli's jaw tightened until it looked like it might crack. They returned to the house and sat at the kitchen table, the same table where they'd done homework, where their mother had laid out bandages and soup after scraped knees, the same table where their father had once spread maps and pointed to places he hoped they'd never have to know. Mara set their packs down and leaned forward, elbows on the table. Eli stared at the wall. "They didn't kill them," he said again, like he needed to hear it twice. "No," Mara said, "and that means we don't leave." Eli turned to her. "You're thinking it already," he said. Mara met his eyes. "We're going after them." Eli didn't hesitate. "Yes," he said. No debate, no speech, just agreement. They spent the rest of the day doing what their parents had taught them. Inventory, assessment, preparation. They gathered what little had been left behind, hidden supplies their father had stashed where only family would think to look. A buried cache beneath the old woodpile held canned food, medical supplies, and ammunition sealed against moisture. Eli laughed once, short and sharp, when he uncovered it. "He knew," Eli said. Mara nodded. "He always did." They ate a proper meal for the first time in days. Beans, rice, salt. It tasted like resolve. At dusk, Mara walked the perimeter of the property. She counted sight lines, cover, approach routes. Eli followed the tire tracks down the road until he reached the spot where they joined a larger set. There, someone had dropped something, a scrap of fabric, canvas, with a symbol stenciled in black, 3 slashes, the same mark they'd seen on the road sign weeks earlier. Eli brought it back. Mara stared at it. "That's our direction," she said. They didn't sleep much that night. Mara lay on the floor of her old room, staring at the ceiling. She remembered her father's voice, calm and certain. "If it ever goes bad, don't ask why it happened, ask who benefits." She sat up slowly. "Eli," she whispered. He was already awake. "I know," he said. They met at the table and spread the map out again. Eli marked the nearest industrial area, old quarries, abandoned factories, a half-finished development project their father had once pointed out, shaking his head at the wasted money. "Good location for a compound," Eli said. "Hard to approach, easy to defend." Mara nodded. "And close enough to pull labor from farms like ours." Eli looked up at her. "We're 2 people," he said. "They're not." Mara's eyes were steady. "We're not attacking," she said. "We're extracting." Eli leaned back, thinking. "Dad always said small units beat big ones if they move right," he said. Mara nodded. "And if they pick the right moment." They planned. Quietly. Carefully. They didn't talk about revenge. They talked about angles, timing, guard patterns, what their parents would do if they were still thinking clearly. Eli traced a finger along the map. "We observe first," he said. Mara nodded. "Days, not hours." Eli added, "We don't improvise unless we have to."
Mara smiled faintly. Dad would be proud. Eli's expression softened, then hardened again. I don't care about proud, he said. I care about alive. Mara reached across the table and squeezed his wrist. So do I. Before dawn, they moved out. They left the house as it was, a scar, a reminder. They took only what they needed. They followed the tracks, staying off the road, moving parallel through tree lines and low ground. They found the compound 2 days later. It rose out of the land like a wound. Fences, watchtowers, makeshift walls built from scavenged materials, heavy equipment parked inside, and people, lots of people, some armed, some not. Mara lay prone on a ridge overlooking the place and raised the binoculars. She scanned slowly. Her heart hammered when she saw them. Her father moved stiffly, one arm bound. Her mother stood beside him, thinner, dirt on her face, but upright, alive. Mara's breath caught. Eli lay beside her, silent. After a long moment, he whispered, "They're still fighting." Mara nodded. "They always will." They stayed there until night fell, memorizing patterns. Who walked where? Who paid attention? Who didn't? They watched guards argue, watched laborers collapse from exhaustion, watched cruelty become routine. When darkness came, Mara lowered the binoculars. "We don't rush," she said. Eli nodded. "We don't miss." Mara's voice dropped to a whisper, steady and cold. "We bring them home." Eli's eyes never left the compound. "We bring them all home," he said. And in that moment, Mara understood something their father had always known. The world didn't collapse all at once.
It fell into the hands of people who thought force was the same as strength, but it could be taken back, quietly, deliberately, by those who remembered how to build instead of break. They lay there in the dark, two shadows on a ridge, planning a rescue that would change everything. Behind them, the empty house waited. Ahead of them, the gates stood. And Mara knew, with a certainty that settled her shaking hands, that those gates would not hold forever.
We hope you enjoyed the story. There's more to come. Subscribe down below. These stories are written by us, helped by AI, and then we put it all together and bring it to you. Stay tuned for the next story coming your way.